Hi, folks. I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical
Together
therapist.
we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course, Bob.
Today we have a very simple, effective balance exercise that you can do at home and prevent falls. But we're going to show you a self-test you can do to see how your balance is doing.
Right. And the test and the balance exercise happen to be the same thing, so that even makes it more simple. And this goes way back about 150 years ago that this originally started. We'll get into that, but before then...
Wow, that's a teaser, Brad.
Oh, yes.
Just like you used to tease the women, didn't you? I bet you used to flirt with them.
Oh, Bob. Why, Bob? Why?
By the way, if you are new to our channel, please take a second to subscribe to us. We provide videos how to stay healthy, fit, pain-free. And we upload every day. We're also doing some self-improvement videos.
Oh, yeah.
I first thought that was upside down when we turned it up. You're going to want to join us on some of these platforms. Definitely, we just started on Instagram, official Bob and Brad. We're going to do some neat stuff there. We're going to do a lot of giveaways. We're going to hit 1 million subscribers coming up in the next, I'd say,
42 days.
42 days.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah,
plus or minus.
We're going to do a massive giveaway in celebration.
Yes.
So we're going to give away 100 thank you notes, right? Or what are we going to do?
Give away our old socks. I don't know.
All right, Brad, take it away. What do we do here?
So this balance test or treatment, like I said, started from a Dr. Moritz Heineck.
Heineck. We always like the Germans.
It's Heineck.
Brad and I are German.
Yeah.
So
anyways,
Schrupp and Heineck.
His last name is Romberg. It's not Heineck, but it's Romberg. Anyways, and he died, I think, in 1873, and I don't know exactly when he made this test, but it's 150 years old, plus or minus. And it's a very simple test, but what it does is it tests and treats the neurological aspect of your balance. So there's three systems that work together to keep you upright.
One's stop you from falling, right?
One's your vision.
It's giving you feedback as to where you're at, where's your head, where's your body in space.
Very good. And then your ears.
Right, in the inner ear, the vestibular
system. And then your nervous system we call it the proprioception system, that your mind knows where your body is in space or whether it's touching the ground just through feedback through your nervous system.
Without seeing it.
Right. So your eyes are closed, you know your foot is over there in front of you or behind you.
Right.
So those three systems. Now with this test or treatment, it takes one of them out, and that's your vision. So you simply close your eyes and it can make a dramatic difference on your balance.
So what's left is all the neural-based systems.
Sure.
And that's what we're testing basically then.
Right. And it just so happens that in the last 50 years or so, they use this test, at least in the United States, for a sobriety test if you're driving and the officer suspects you've been drinking a little too much.
How is it that you know that, Brad?
Well, Bob, I live in Wisconsin.
So some of the friends that we have, not us, but some of the friends. Minnesota's not much better, Brad.
Yeah, we're neighbor states. We're a little higher. I don't know, something to brag about, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so here's the test or the treatment. The Romberg test, you simply bring your feet close together. You stand up tall with good posture, hands by your side, and then you get a clock out. Or, now we can just use our cell phone or look at the old-fashioned analog clock on the wall with a second hand. And 60 seconds, if you can stand still for 60 seconds, then you passed it. However, if you stand still with your eyes open and you can't hold your balance, you did not pass.
Are you allowed to sway? We had a discussion.
Well, I've read two different things that said, one, if you sway, and it's going to depend on how much you sway, perhaps, then you didn't pass.
Right.
But on the other hand, if you sway but you're clearly maintaining balance without help,
I would say you pass.
Right.
We're going to say you pass.
I think it's going to vary on what you read, because I read a couple different sources there. One way or another, if you go like this, you
did not pass.
Right. So if you have a balance problem, maybe you're older, you had an injury, or balance isn't good, don't do this by yourself.
Right.
You don't want to tip over and create an injury.
Somebody with you, and maybe you have a belt on that they can hold on to you with.
One person on each side works really well.
Right.
So they can help you out, particularly if you're a larger person.
But you were going to show against the wall, too, or against the corner, or that's not yet?
Well, no, Bob.
Oh, that's for the
Don't rush me, Bob.
Okay.
I'm on a roll. Okay.
All right.
So we did that, eyes closed for 60 seconds. And if that's too easy, then we do the modified Romberg. Let's go down to the floor. So if we look at it from this angle, would that be the lateral view?
That'd be a lateral view, Brad.
Now, if this is easy, the next thing you go is you move your foot forward.
Why don't you move this one forward so they can see?
Okay, that much farther.
Yeah, about a quarter of the foot. Is that
Yep,
what
the
you're saying?
quarter length of the foot. Do this. Repeat the same thing. If you can pass it easily that way, you go 50% of the foot. Each time, it's amazing.
It's a big difference.
It's a big difference.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like much, but when you close your eyes, Bob and I both have relatively good balance for our age.
Well, I don't really actually for my height. I'm so tall. I have
Right.
little feet.
Taller people typically are a little more
Yeah.
challenged. And then you go to actually a 90% on the one literature I was reading, 90%. And then finally toe to heel. And like I can stand very easily like this with my eyes. You can see I'm working a little bit, but
Yeah.
I'm uncomfortable. If I close my eyes, then I really need
Yeah.
to focus. Okay? So chances are, you may do this if you're fine and healthy, but if you got a balance problem for whatever reason and you need to practice it, this is a good way to do it. You go into a corner, okay? So that if this is assuming there's nobody to help you and you want to practice some
Right.
balance exercise at home, take a nice chair that's solid. This is a heavy steel chair.
Now, are they again, Brad? The test are eyes open first, and then you do the test with the eyes closed.
Right. Open first, then you close with your feet in the same position. If you pass both of them, then you
And
move
then
the
you
foot.
progress along. Then you go
Right.
quarter, and again, eyes open and eyes closed on
Yes.
each one.
Exactly.
So
Perfect.
you want to see where you're at.
Right.
So like let's say you pass this one and this one and this one, but you don't pass this one, and the next time you do pass that one, you know you're getting better. You're
Right.
getting better.
Right. It's
So-
a good way to document. So it's a measurement.
Right.
Not just I think it's a little better, but then
Right.
you know. We're therapists too. That's why we think this way.
That's right.
So here I'm protected if I'm doing this at home. If I have a patient, I'm going to say, go into the corner wall, have a chair in front of you, and then wherever they were, maybe they couldn't hold at 50%. The feet was halfway in front. We're going to back up from there and simply practice and get a clock
And
out.
there's a chair in front of you,
Right.
so you got all sides covered. So
Right.
if you fall back, you got the wall. If you can fall forward, you got the chair.
Precisely.
So
And if you're not comfortable with that, then you need some help.
somebody else there, yeah.
Mhm. So nowadays, the cell phone, put the cell phone there. I like to turn mine 60 seconds and it beeps at the end, so I don't have
Sure.
to actually look at it. I can keep my eyes forward, especially when your eyes are closed. It's hard to see the clock.
I would say it would be. I agree.
Yeah. So then you got an audible information, and then you'll just practice it. And to get this out of the way, as you get better, you might get to this point where heel is to toe, and then you're going, and it's nice here you can touch here, and if you can do it and you only have 4 or 5 touches in a minute, the next time you can count maybe only 2 touches. That's another way to gauge if you're making progress on your balance. So, Dr. Romberg, he was a fine man.
Man ahead of his time.
Yeah, he was. And now they're used, it's used all the time.
And we always like the Germans.
Right.
Being that we're
And
German
now
ourselves.
Bob and I are trying to think of some kind of balance test because we want the Bob
Yeah,
and
we
Brad
want our
test.
name on it, something that it's going to live on forever.
Right, a couple hundred
So-
years from now, they'll be thinking,
It's gonna
back.
probably be the Bob and Brad idiot test. Like how do you determine whether or not you're an idiot? So
Why, Bob?
yeah, all right.
Why?
Thanks for watching.